She's the host.
Mars Chestnut.
No, she's just the host.
Get the sound together. So if you have questions, give it up for John Singleton again. Family here, if you're here, please stand up. Be acknowledged. If you have a question, you guys be like, oh, all right. Somebody's going. Okay, great. Go ahead. Okay, sorry. Check. All right, here we go. So if you have questions, I would like you to bring them right here to the man who was in the movie, or whoever else. Yes, everyone that's in the film. Just here we go.
Boyz Sykes. Clay Thompson. Man, my dad. Donovan McQuarrie. Play the young Ricky. Darius McQuarrie. Kinfolk. And D. Brown, was you in the movie?
So anybody have a question? Or you guys want to say anything about your experience with the movie first?
I'll just say that, my experience working with John Singleton was
Boyz in the Hood cast.
obviously it's one that changed my life, and I'm forever indebted to John. And it's looking back at that movie right now. I mean, I was just a kid, didn't know what I was doing, but everybody else had. What's up, girl? Everybody else had a lot of experience. When you really think about the eye that John had for talent. I mean, there were 4 Oscar nominees in the movie, 1 Oscar winner in the movie. You know what I'm saying? So he just had a phenomenal eye for talent.
Well, I'll just pick it up from there. Being a young 10-year-old boy, going back to 3 callbacks and finally reading for John, I'll never forget. He looked me in my eyes. He told me, he said, "You're a good actor." And he said, "The next time I see you, I want you to always be having something in your hands and eating and doing that and whatnot." Now, I still didn't know if I had a part yet, but I said it to say, he was able to see that talent. I didn't even know I had the talent, and he brought it out of me. And that was just a beautiful experience. As a grown man now, I look at the movie and I see so many things that I relate to in a different way. Everything is so relevant still to this day. So for him to be ahead of his time was like on some Nostradamus stuff, Most of the stuff today that we see, it's like it's still happening.
Yep.
It was heavy. I don't know if you guys felt it, but it was a heavy feeling, So, and it was a blessing to be a part of that. The cast, I don't even think anyone knew how big it was going to be or what it was going to branch out to become. Just the cast alone.
Classic.
Lawrence Fishburne, Lawrence Chestnut, Cuba Gooding, he's long, I'm Ice Cube. And, the list goes on. So, it was a beautiful experience for me and a blessing. And just to clear something up, to lighten it up, I was supposed to drop the football. Supposed to drop the football, People always tell me, "Man, I thought you could catch." Yeah, I did catch. That was scripted. But, I just say it was a blessing to work alongside of a lot of great people. A lot of us didn't know that it would be this big. And, again, it's a wonderful experience. Yeah, that was incredible.
If I may chime in for just a second, first of all, it's an honor and a pleasure to have each of you here. One more time, can we please give it up for them? A little fact that we know is that when it comes to this particular movie, Boyz in the Hood, it did not premiere in the United States. It actually premiered in France, in the film festival. Which is amazing, and then was well received by everyone, especially after the fact. I understand standing ovation, 20-minute standing ovation. Wow. for this film.
That's a funny thing you said that too, because I'll never forget. Like I said, it was my first movie. It was the first thing I ever done, and my agent called me. He says, good news. The film is going to premiere at the Cannes Film Festival. I said, the Cannes, you talking about in France? I said, why don't they open up the movie out here? You know what I'm saying? I just had no clue what the industry was at that time.
It was amazing. I want to dip down just for a second, and I would like to go to Justice. Justice is joining us. How are you?
This is John Singleton's
Yes.
oldest daughter, Justice, you guys, right down here. So give it up for her. She's a young filmmaker in the making.
Justice, thank you so much for being here. Welcome back, because you've been with us before. You actually premiered a film here with us. To see this film all over again, what goes through your mind, especially when you hear some of the reactions to what has taken place in the film? What goes through your mind?
Well, I'm going to be honest about two things. I saw it in France, and I cried the whole time like a baby. And I studied it like a filmmaker, but I just studied it as a daughter and a piece of my father before. And I'm sure so my sister feels the same way. When you watch the movie, you see pieces of John in so many different ways that by the end of it, you fully get the whole route of not just his childhood, but also his adulthood, his manhood, and his fatherhood. So that's kind of how I felt watching the movie again. However, this time, I'll be honest, it was so hard for me to go through that emotional journey. I left it to my sister, and I just went to go see Godzilla. But but it is an emotional journey for me to rewatch that movie, you know. And I don't know. How do you feel about some of the stuff?
I was crying the whole time. Crying the whole time. And just like Justice was saying, like, even before when I was watching, Boyz in the Hood when I was a kid, I could see all of my dad in the writing, and Ricky and Doughboy and all the kids. Like, it's just so much to take in. I haven't watched it in a while, and I'm happy to be here with you guys. I'm a frog in my throat. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
But yeah, I literally just got over crying like less than 5 minutes ago before I came up here. So that's why I sound like this.
Ice Cube.
But I'm so grateful to watch this. I mean, to be here, and as an artist, like, I know the potential of my father, and I know the potential in all of us, and it's crazy. It's literally insane what we can do with this platform, and that's all I'm gonna take in. That's all I'm gonna take in. That's all I'm gonna do is just work towards what I want to. So no, of course. As a creative, that's all I want to do is create and make my dad proud. So thank you.
So this actually goes to more Chestnut. So when I was looking at pictures that Dee Stevens took of you when you were on the set of the movie, and I was kind of thinking, like, to be young and to be black and be a part of that movie, like, was there a certain naive, like, you said you didn't know how big, did you say you didn't know how big the movie was?
Right.
Or like, because I remember thinking, and maybe this is wrong, but like, if I was on my first big movie set and Quincy Jones and all these people were coming to set, I would have been in some way like, oh, it's gonna be big, it's gonna be you,
Right.
But from that moment that movie came out, did you feel like, I mean, knowing who you are today, did you feel like this is gonna have a longevity for you personally? Because that's a really iconic character you can't really move off of,
Thank you. It's crazy because I just remember when I got the part. Well, the whole thing was kind of. It was. I can't say it was. It wasn't as intimidating as normal because when I went to the audition, I met with Jackie Brown, the casting director, and there was a pre-read. I got a call back, and then she said, and then my agent called and said, "Okay, you're gonna go back and meet the director." So I go, "Okay, I'm gonna go back and meet the director." Then I walked into the room, and it's John, big smile on his face, same age as me, basically, right? And I was like, oh, okay, so we cool. So he was just inviting to me. And then I'll never forget, man, it was almost like yesterday. So I'll never forget, so after I auditioned, he grabbed my hand and he held it. He was like, good job, man, good job. And just the way he held it and looked at me, he didn't say you got the part, but, then I eventually got the part. Then so when I finally went to we finally had a table read, we started going to rehearsals. Now back at that time, big movies had big movie stars. You know what I'm saying? There really wasn't that many small movies being made. Like, at that time, I mean, $6 million was what we made Boyz was. I mean, there weren't a lot of movies like that. Like, now there are a lot of movies like that, and quote-unquote, urban movies. And I was looking, I said, okay, so I'm leading this movie. Nobody knows me. Nobody knows Cuba. People knew Ice Cube, but he was a rapper. So I didn't think that the movie was going to be big because we didn't have, like, huge movie stars. So, but it was good to see everybody coming to set, and everybody supporting John, and John, bouncing around set and supporting. He really just helped me out. Just told you, hey man, just chill, be you. And same thing with Donovan. He just told me to eat all the time. And little did I know. He was like, okay, hey, put this in your hand, drink some milk, eat some yoo-hoos or whatever. And little did I know that was a trait that many people really pick up on. And a lot of people pick up on it to this day.
Yeah. And speaking of like different things that people pick up on, I mean, this movie has affected so many people globally around the world. This question is for anybody who would like to answer it, but this is a film that has been studied in colleges as a course, as a class course. Anyone chime in your thoughts?
Okay.
Yeah, anyone? Yes.
How y'all doing?
Right. Right.
I want to just first of all say that I'm very grateful that I met John, and John gave me an opportunity to be in his film. It was also my first film. I met John pre-Boyz in the Hood. We both attended USC together. And I would see John going across campus to the cinema department, and I would be running to the drama department. And we would see each other, and I think it was a big deal back then, talking about 1989, 90. And we would see each other, just greet, hey man, hey, you going to cinema? Yeah, I'm going to drama. We'd be running the class. And I did a production at USC. They do it every year. It's called An Evening of Soul. And John was in the audience, and that's where he saw me. And so after that performance, he came up, and just like he said to you guys, hey man, you're a good actor. We got to work together. So I was like, okay, what does he know that I don't know, but okay. And so time passed. I graduated a year before John. I was in class of 89 from USC. And John got my number from somebody. I think it was a mutual friend we had. Her name was Melissa Maxwell. We all went to school together. And he said, hey man, for my final, or my thesis, I have a project and I need a strong actor. You'd be perfect. Can you come in and read? There's no pay. I was like, hey, no big deal, man. It's cool to hear that you're close to graduating. I'll be there. So I drove down there. I'm born and raised in Compton, California, so I'm on the 110 in traffic coming to Compton. And I got to SC, and I remember when he gave me that script. And I looked at that script. I had about 15 minutes with that script. I actually read the Doughboy scene where he talks about not having a brother, the last scene of the movie, basically. And it brought tears to my eyes just reading it. And so then we actually did it for the class, and it wasn't a dry eye in the house. And I said, man, you got something here. And he shook my hand. He said, thank you for coming out and reading. And he looked me in the eye like he did you. And he said, when I come up, you're going to come up.
Come through.
And I had heard that quite a bit on USC's campus. We had a lot of people who were ambitious. I never was one to rain on anybody's dreams. I had my own. But the way he said it, and I was saying to myself again, what does this guy know that I don't know? And so about 3 months later, I got a call from John, and he said, hey, there's a project. I think you'd be good for it. Come down to Columbia Studios. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Like, I got to call my agent. And, well, how do you know about it? Just come down. Come down. Okay. So I went to Columbia Studios not knowing that it was John's film. I guess I was in the dark. He greeted me. They brought me in. I still did not know it was his film. He wanted it that way. He has this like high-pitched laugh, and he was just laughing. So the joke was on me. And so I remember being brought into the room to read. I had some experience. When you go in for an audition, the first audition is like someone said earlier, you know, you have it with the cast and director, and then you go into producers. I saw the one-way mirror, so I was like, he's got some kind of juice because there's producers behind that one-way. So I better do everything all in this one audition. And so I auditioned. As I'm leaving, there's that grin again, and he's like, how'd you think you did, man? And I said, I think I did good. I did my best. And he said, okay. And that was it, right? So I left the audition, and 2 days later, I got a phone call that I was casted